Hi everyone, it's a beautiful sunny July morning. Birds are singing and I'm out here in my garden looking over the Minibeds-On-Plastic experimental part of my garden. And today I want to just give you a brief overview of what Minibeds-On-Plastic gardening is all about, or the concept as I've envisioned it and am working it out here. The idea is to make a garden that is manageable, that is a joy to work in, and this is proving to be that. There are some discouragements and disappointments in this concept, but the basic concept is working. And that is that you take a section of ground and you lay a heavy UV resistant black plastic down over the soil. Then you make the mini beds, which are 2x4 wood frames, 30 inches by 30 inches outside diameter, and you arrange these on the plastic. You pin them in place. They are removable. You can lift them up, take them off, and they serve two purposes. One, they frame your garden space, and two, they hold the plastic down from blowing away. And when this is made, as I've envisioned it, and as I've, by the way, explained it in my Minibeds-On-Plastic report, the PDF download that I have, the area here, 78% of the ground is covered with black plastic, and no weeds are going to grow on that 78% of area. So I can focus my time on 22% of soil in the mini beds in this area. So it's a time saver. At this time of year, early July, here in upstate New York, the weeds as well as plants in the garden really take off. And this is about the time of year when weeds in the garden get ahead of me. But they're not going to get ahead of me here in my Minibeds-On-Plastic garden, that's for sure, because I can tend to those little beds with my whiz-bang pocket cultivator in just a few moments. It's very easy, very simple. And the other aspect of this garden plan that I have here, this Minibeds-On-Plastic, is that each mini bed is an island, a productive island surrounded by a sea of black plastic mulch under which there is plenty of moisture to draw from. And there's plenty of root space there for the mini beds plantings to go into and get the moisture that they need. So the only problem with this idea, and it's really not a problem, is figuring out how best to utilize the mini bed spaces. And some things grow well in the mini beds. Surprisingly, the potatoes have done well. I didn't really expect that potatoes would do well, or at least they've grown well. I haven't harvested any yet, but I've had episodes about this in the past, these potatoes. I'm looking forward to harvesting and seeing what kind of yield I get. The bed right here with onions is much too full. These onions are crammed too tight in here, and that's part of the experiment. This experiment is ongoing. The different planting schemes. Here I have Lima beans, not looking too hot right now. A lot of them didn't germinate. This onion bed, the onions have more room, and I think this bed will do better, will yield better than that other one over there. Garlic has done well in these beds. Put peas, of course the squashes and cucumbers. We'll go take a look at those now. So here we have one summer squash. This is a Zephyr squash. I love these squashes. One plant in here and it's thriving. You can see it's starting to grow over the edges, which is just fine. Now over here, look at this. This is a zucchini. I think I have 2 plants in this bed. I think I let 2, and we've got a blossom. That's new today. First big blossom. Squashes do well. Over here, you can see I have beets in that mini bed. This is carrots here. I have a cucumber, a bush cuke. I just took the solar pyramid cover off of this yesterday. These cukes are ready to take off. Beets there. 4 cabbages in a mini bed. We'll see how that works, as well as over here have 4 Brussels sprouts. Will 4 Brussels sprouts be too crowded? They might be. We'll find out. Over here, 4 broccoli plants in a mini bed. I have another cucumber here. This bed right here is a ground cherry. Never grown one before. I expect that will get much bigger. Over here I have beneficial insect flower mix in here. Actually looks like some parsley in there. Well, anyway, it was a mix, and we'll see how that goes. You can experiment with different things. Little mini beds, you experiment, figure out what works. That's what I'm in the process of doing. Celery, 5 celeries in a mini bed. We'll see how that works. Over here, well, I have more broccoli, and right here we have cantaloupes. I took the clear Growtherm plastic covers off of these 2 cantaloupe beds yesterday. We'll see how they do. They should take off now. They're going to start blossoming and growing fruit. Yeah, let's take a look at a couple other beds. Here's a bed with a lavender in the center and nasturtiums in the corners. That should work out very nicely by the looks of it. I've got lettuce over here, romaine, winter density in particular right there, that is going to seed. This flashy trout lettuce, romaine, is also going to seed. Now here's something I tried in these beds. Both of these lettuce beds, I planted tomatoes in the center. This was back in April when I planted this lettuce and these tomatoes, and the seeds grew, but the plants have not thrived. Like, for example, a transplant tomato that I grew and transplanted here. This is a determinant. Here's it's a Roma that I started on the windowsill. Now, determinants need a cage in a mini bed. That's completely different from indeterminates, which I usually grow, but I don't think indeterminates will do well in mini beds. At least I haven't figured out how to grow them tall. So I have my indeterminate tomatoes around the perimeter of my garden on Planet Whiz Bang T-post trellis spans. Here again you have more lettuce going to seed. I need to get these beds cleared out and replanted. Let's see what else we got. Okay, and here are the potato onions. I've shown these in previous episodes. We'll kind of get a close-up here and show you how they've got multiple bulbs at the base. That's how they grow. They'll get bigger. Of course, all the energy in these tops will go into the bulbs. Potato onions have done well. I've got peppers here. Some peppers in the garden haven't done well. These are doing well. These are going to fill this bed, I'm pretty sure. The peppers tend to be a little slow, and then they take off and get big. And you see I've got, when I find stones in the mini bed, I just set them on the frame and come along and pick them up later. Over here, I've had episodes about how I planted peas in the perimeter, and then I was going to put corn in the center. That's kind of a lost cause the corn, that idea didn't really work. And I don't know if corn in mini beds is a good idea. These mini beds are valuable garden real estate. See, the peas have gone by, and if you have lamb's quarters that grow well in your garden, you know you have good fertility. And so these peas are going to be cut out of here today. I'll leave the roots in the ground. Look at this guy, got a little snail on that pea leaf. I don't like snails. So these beds will be planted for a fall crop to carrots and beets. I think I'll put some rutabagas, or as the old timers called them, Swedes, in here, in these beds. Here I have garlic. Garlic grew really well in the beds. The scapes here need to be taken off. And let's see, I'll see what else we got around here. Quite a few of these mini beds are planted to strawberries. Here you can see I have 4 strawberries in this mini bed, and these will be single plants. All the runners, like this one, will be picked off. I believe another one here, I'll keep them picked off. These 4 strawberries should grow quite large. I'm going to do an episode about strawberries and growing strawberries soon. Here's the parsley, a flat leaf parsley. Planted 5 hills in this mini bed back in April under a solar pyramid. These have done really well. My wife comes out here, trims this parsley off, uses it almost every day now, and this has been a good planting scheme. 5 groupings of parsley seeds in one mini bed. That's nice to see. Here I'll end with a look at a mini bed that really hasn't worked out very well. I planted a circle a circle of New Zealand spinach seeds in this mini bed, and only a few of the seeds came up. And we had heavy rains, very heavy rains recently. I had an episode about that, and this bed needs to be cultivated and needs to dry out a little, and the New Zealand spinach that is there should do well, but it's not a great looking mini bed by any means, and that's the way it goes. In any garden, you have success and you have failure, you have disappointments, and you have real satisfaction. It's a mix. It's a mixed bag. That's the way gardening is, whether it's mini beds or not. So I should end on a good note. We'll come back over here and look at this beautiful zucchini blossom in the morning sun. One last thing I should say is part of this experimental garden is one of the things I'm evaluating is the longevity of the plastic. This is bunker cover plastic. I'm hoping to get at least 5 years out of it. I have no problems with it so far. I put it in last fall. It hasn't been even quite 1 year yet, but so far so good. I'm also evaluating the longevity of these untreated pine 2x4 frames. Hey, there's a little, see the little zucchini? Zucchini doesn't disappoint usually. Yeah, so we'll see how long these frames last. Again, I hope to get 5 years out of them at least, and if I do, I'll be pretty happy. This is a gardening idea, mini beds on plastic, that is something I'm hoping I can do well into my old age once this is set up. In manageable mini beds that you don't have to come in and till up. You don't have to do a whole lot of work once the initial work is done. And if I can't get to a bed to get it planted with a vegetable crop, I can just put a green manure or a cover crop in there, rye or oats or buckwheat, and that is part of the plan here. is to, when these beds are not being used, to make sure that they do have a cover crop on them. Well, I think I've said enough. I've introduced this whole concept to you. Remember, please, that if you like, you can get much more information about this concept in my Minibeds-On-Plastic PDF download. And I will be evaluating my first year and the different various schemes of planting in these mini beds, and I'll be publishing another update, or not another update, an update to that first report this winter, after I've had time to evaluate and think about and put together my thoughts. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.